Good afternoon and welcome to the Senior Hour, which is sponsored by Providence Holy Cross Medical Center, IMAC Med Spa, and Comfort Keepers in Home Care. I'm Barbara Cochran with my co-host,
Dr. Thomas Polucki,
on your hometown station, 98.1 FM, AM 1220 KHTS. This is a show for, about, and by seniors, giving information to enhance one's quality of life. And our first guest this morning is Rose Upshaw, and she's from Preferred Glass and Windows.
Yes.
Nice to have you.
Thank you so much for having me.
It's afternoon.
Oh, it is
it's
afternoon.
It's 12:10.
Oh my gosh, the time is flying by.
I know, you don't have to tell me.
Good afternoon. Thank you for having me.
Yes.
Yeah, so Rose, everybody needs glass and mirrors. I can speak from experience. We've used Preferred Glass to do our mirrors. Some rooms, they're floor to ceiling, and they just did an incredible job. I can't recommend them highly enough. They're the only glass and window people will use in the Santa Clarita area.
Well,
so
thank you so much. We appreciate that glowing endorsement.
There you go. There you go. It's online too. I did give you a good review because they're just exceptional. Their service. There was one slight issue, and they handled it immediately. So nothing ever goes perfectly, but it's what happens next that really sets people apart in this day and age, and it was all handled like perfectly. So great.
I'm so glad to hear that. Thank you so much.
You're welcome. So what do you do there, and what's this all about?
So I'm a new face on the team. So Scott and Michelle are probably the people who most people are familiar with, and so I'm a new partner in the
Scott
business.
and Michelle who?
Middleman. Yes.
Okay.
So they've been running the company. The company's been around since 1969.
Good glory.
Yeah.
Up here?
Yes, here. So we have a long-standing reputation in the community, and it's been great. And so, Scott and Michelle have done an amazing job, and they brought me in so they can have a little break and, enjoy holidays and things. So I'm here to help expand the business and to, really continue the tradition of being active in the community. And so I wanted to come this afternoon and talk to you here because I understand that seniors are a very important part of a community, and I think how a community treats its seniors says a lot. So here in Santa Clarita Valley, I see all these amazing services and all this attention given to seniors, and I think that's in perfect alignment with what we do at Preferred Glass. As you just mentioned, we like to go above and beyond and give extra care and attention to all of our customers, but especially seniors. So for us, that means calling after every job to make sure everything was done correctly and that the customer is satisfied, but also matching prices. So we match any price, apples to apples. We want to be, active in the community. We want to make sure that everyone has a great experience, and we are licensed, bonded, insured. So, when it comes to home improvement, there can be a tendency to just go to your local hardware store and find a guy with a tool belt and a truck and just ask them to, do some things around your house. However, when it comes to the senior population, it's a vulnerable population. So we want to make sure that the people going into your home are not only just trustworthy, but that you can find them again when you need them. So we have a huge, beautiful showroom right here in the community. You can stop by anytime. You know where to find us. We do not use any type of third-party subcontractors. So all of the team are in-house. So anybody who's going into your home is part of our direct team. They're on staff. So just those extra pieces of care to make sure that everybody, but especially seniors, have a great experience when they're doing home improvement, and especially with glass. As we know, if some glass breaks, it typically needs to be fixed as soon as possible.
And
so
also,
we're local and we're ready.
When you have windows that pull back and forth, sometimes they have a little hitch in them.
Yep.
And cold air can come through, hot air can come through, and seniors especially don't know how to handle something like that unless they're fortunate, like I am, to have kids who can handle that kind of thing.
Awesome.
But and you're right, we do have a very large senior population out here.
Yeah.
Santa Clarita Valley has always welcomed seniors, and we've got the whole Friendly Valley area, and I mean that isn't a small area. I know because I live across from it. But they have a lot of wonderful people over there, and many times people need help with windows and doors and that kind of thing, and especially seniors who think, oh, it'll fix itself, or you know.
And especially when it comes to glass, even if you are a little handy, this is something you don't want to attempt on your own. The mirrors in particular. So one of the issues I had was the steam in the shower takes the backing, the silver coating off if there's some condensation.
Yes.
And I did not want to attempt to replace that mirror. It's a big mirror and it's flush with the wall.
Right.
You guys made it. I mean, it was like nothing for your team to come in and take care of that. So these things you got to leave to the professionals. You don't try to figure out how to do this stuff on your own,
right.
Or maybe go down, like you said, see on the street corner a bunch of people hanging out with tool belts on and say, oh, hey, can you do this for me? No, not with that.
Well, I'm fortunate. I don't use my shower. It's too dangerous because I'm unstable.
Yeah.
Even though the kids put in the bars and what have you, I still need to sit down. So when my husband bought me a walk-in tub, we bought it for him basically because he couldn't get in the shower, and so it worked for me and still works for me because I can just step in about that high off the floor and close the door, and I've got the shower there, and I'm good to go. And I love it. Nice. I love it.
Yep. So what got you interested in taking an active role at Preferred Glass?
Yeah, great question. So Preferred Glass is a family-owned business. I come from a very active family-owned business. My family was in construction and entertainment. I'm from Northern California. So I've been living in Los Angeles since 2008. So I'm new to the Santa Clarita area, and I definitely like to, participate in thriving communities. And so when I learned about the opportunity to participate and help expand Preferred Glass, I thought it was great because it's a wonderful, loving family business, and that's right up my alley.
Yeah, they're great. They're in this day and age, you have to be cautious about the businesses that you let into your home.
Yes.
The businesses that especially like I was just so happy with my experience with Preferred Glass. First of all, how they handled us. Like, we didn't know what we didn't know. We didn't know. We just walked into the showroom and started asking some questions, and everything was taken care of. The installation was amazing and quick and easy. And when there was a slight problem, so here's something that nobody can predict. The glue that they use, the mirror itself moved a little bit after it was put in place.
Okay.
And we thought, oh no, what do we do? What do we do? Because it didn't show up until like the next day or maybe even 2 days later. And we thought, oh, that glue is set. We're going to have to replace the whole thing. But apparently you don't have to when you know what you're doing, because they came right in and lined everything right up, and it's good. And this is over 10 years ago now,
Oh,
so it's
wow.
perfect. I mean, yeah.
Okay, well, I love to hear that. I will say that one of the great things about using a local business like Preferred Glass and Windows is that, we're here when you need us. One of the things I've recently learned in the industry is that not a lot of businesses have a lifetime warranty. We offer a lifetime warranty on installation. So I'm happy to hear that things have been amazing for 10 years, but if anything were to go wrong, you know where to find us.
Right.
And that's not an extra charge in most cases, depending on what the issue is.
Yeah, you work with someone new, you're going to have to replace the whole thing.
Right. And then also, because we're local, we definitely strive not only to give the best service and the best prices, but to be fair and reasonable, right? Imagine, a company that's far away, they can have any sort of business practices, might try to pull a fast one.
And turn tail.
Right. But we're right here. We're your neighbor. So if you, do a little bit of research and realize like, oh, hey, this wasn't I didn't need to replace this, or, this wasn't quite right. I think they might have, sold me something that I didn't need, things like that. Like, we're right here. So we definitely strive to make sure not only are we giving best prices and best services, but actually what clients need. So when I'm in Preferred Glass, when I'm in the office, I hear our staff, quoting people changes. Like the things that they thought they wanted to order, we'll recommend different things, even if it's a lower price or a smaller job for us, because we want the customer to be happy. So we pride ourselves on making sure that the customers have a good experience.
That's so important for a business in this valley. It really is.
Sure.
Because word of mouth is what gets you the business.
Mm-hmm.
It really is.
Speaking to that point, another project, because we're repeat customers.
Thank you.
Another project was we have these elaborate bathroom situations, and one of them was done immaculately. And when I had to remodel the second one, that same style wasn't ideal for that situation, because the construction in that bathroom was just different. It was a different layout, and it was going to be overly complicated, and it was going to cost a lot of money to get the shower glass, the stall put in to duplicate the one in the master bedroom. And we were racking our heads with that, but they suggested a totally different option that cost a fraction of it, that is still beautiful and works perfectly now. So yes, I can actually testify that this is exactly how you do business.
Thank you.
Yeah.
That's awesome. You're making me want to do a remodel.
Not unless you have to.
Not unless you have to.
Yeah.
You're absolutely right.
Yeah, but when you do have to, it's nice to know that there is a local business, a local family-owned business that really cares and really is a part of this community for 50 years.
Yeah, 50 years and counting.
Yeah.
So, we want to maintain our great reputation. And I actually welcomed my grandfather. He came to visit last weekend. He wanted to see Preferred Glass, and we have a really beautiful showroom, and that's something I've also learned is rare in the glass business. A lot of times it's more industrial, or just like a counter where you just order, but we actually have a full showroom where you can walk through, see different windows, touch them, feel how smooth they glide, see different shower doors, different finishes, different mirrors, different sliding glass doors. So my grandfather came from Northern California to see it. He is in his 80s, and he loved it. He was able to, move around. He's not as quick as he used to be, but he was able.
Oh, that kind of happens as you get older. I won't say old. I'll say older.
But yeah, so my personal senior enjoyed it, so I'm hoping that everyone here in the community will continue to enjoy it as well.
Oh, I'm sure, because there's nothing better than having perfectly moving windows when you try to open. And it really is. It's a pain when you try to open a window and it rocks.
Yeah.
And it gets stuck. And there you are trying to open a window or close it, and total frustration.
Mhm.
I swear.
Yeah. That is less
Because
than
it's very,
ideal.
very frustrating.
And
Very
so
frustrating.
much in Santa Clarita. I mean, there is a lot of new places going in, but so much in Santa Clarita. These houses are seniors. These houses need some extra care and attention, and a lot of them are going to need a bathroom remodel.
Yes.
We experienced that. We bought the house in I can't even remember, 2005,
Okay.
and by 2010 we had to remodel the bathroom. We had no choice. That's a whole other story, but Preferred Glass handled all of the mirrors and the shower stalls, the
Shower
glass.
glass.
Yeah, the shower glass. Great. And so, what is that? That's 13 years, and not a problem since. So it's all good.
We love to hear that.
Yeah.
Thank you so much for sharing.
You're absolutely, yeah. And you worry about things like, okay, well, we paid a lot of money for this house, and within 5 years, we're having to replace nearly everything.
Wow.
It's just the nature of being a homeowner. And then you get a quality job done properly, and it's more than double that, and not a problem at all. You think, oh, is the strip the waterproofing, the sealant, is that going to fail? What happens if I use too much cleaner and I scratch it or break it or whatever? And we haven't run into any of that, so it's all good.
I love to hear that.
Yeah.
And if you ever do, and even customers out there who have not tried Preferred Glass yet, please give us a call.
And can you give us that information?
Yeah, so the number is 661-255-1170. We love to provide quotes and provide information on how to care for the glass and the windows and the doors in your home. And
where are you located?
We are located right here on Soledad Canyon Road. The address is 23032 Soledad Canyon Road.
Okay, so when I went to the showroom, it was on the corner of like Soledad and Bouquet.
Yes, exactly.
Is that it? It's still there.
That's where we are.
It's still there. That we haven't needed to go back for over 10 years. I just want to make sure you're still in the same spot. So yeah, great. It's a great showroom. Now, with dealing with the senior community, do they have to go to the showroom, or can you send somebody out to take a look at what they've got going on?
Yeah, we are happy to send our team members out. So that's a lot of what they do on a day-to-day basis, is go basically make house calls, right? And measure and assess situations and see what's going to be a good fit. So it's not an issue. We just love our showroom. We think it's so beautiful. And again, it's apparently rare in the industry to have a showroom for a glass and window business. And we actually have refreshments, when people come in. So we welcome everybody in. But if you're unable to make it in, we're happy to send a team member out to measure and assess and provide quotes.
Yeah, that's, again, what you would hope for, but it's so hard to find anymore, to find good service like that. So yeah, Preferred Glass, absolutely the only people we'll work with.
Thank you.
Outstanding. I wish you did windows because we did not have such a great experience with our window company.
But you do.
We do windows.
You do, but you install like windows, like regular windows for the house. We'd already had it done by the time we got to you. And I wish we would have used you.
So please think of us for everything glass.
Yeah, okay.
So a window, a sliding glass door, shower glass, mirrors, even any shelving. Some people have glass shelves that need to be fixed, or patio furniture that has glass, like a glass tabletop. that's all us.
Okay, good to know. Yeah, great. All right, so Rose, one more time, the contact information for Preferred Glass.
Thank you so much. So we are Preferred Glass and Windows. You can give us a call at 661-255-1170. And we're also online, preferredglassandwindows.net.
Awesome. Thank you so much for having us. We'll be right back with the Senior Hour, KHTS FM 98.1, AM 1220, hometownstation.com.
Senior Hour, I'm Barbara Cochran with my co-host, Dr. Thomas Polucki, on your hometown station, 98.1 FM, AM 1220, KHTS. And we have our guest now is Adam Laraway from Physical Therapy.
Hello
Good
there.
to see you again.
Good to see you again as well.
Yes. So, what's up today?
I thought maybe we would talk about some back pain.
Oh,
That's probably a big complaint a lot of our seniors have. People, their back gets tight and sore, and they try and lift something. So I thought maybe we would talk about that a little bit today, and kind of some of the causes that there is that cause it, and maybe some things that might be able to help get rid of it.
Sounds good.
Yep. So what happens as we get older, we tend to sit a lot, and so
Oh, really?
yeah. And so there's a couple different muscles that tend to get really tight. There are muscles called the hip flexors. There's psoas, a muscle that when you stand up, it has to straighten out. And if it's tight from sitting because it's been on slack, then sometimes when you stand up, it'll pull on your lower back, and that can be a culprit for lower back pain. And then the hamstrings, the other side of your hip on the back side, can also get tight because when you sit, your legs are bent, and so those muscles are on slack too. So sitting is not a good thing for back pain for sure.
Well, I keep my feet up.
Straight out, okay?
I've been told many times,
Yep.
keep those feet up
Yep.
above where you would normally sit.
Yep.
Up.
Absolutely. That takes some of the pressure off, and it would, if they're out straight, then it definitely will help with your hamstrings, that not getting as tight. But you get a little bit, I always talk to patients about it, and I get out the models and stuff like that, and kind of teach them that, if you've got tight hip flexors from sitting and you've got tight hamstrings from sitting, you got kind of a tug of war going on at your lower back, and that's why often most people feel that. So we have to.
Well, I get up and get my walker, walk around in the circle.
Yep.
Around in the circle, and I'll go back this way.
Yep. Absolutely. I like to, especially for, not only for seniors, but for everybody, because we just really aren't designed to sit and be stationary like that for a long period of time. So I like to teach what I call the 30-30 rule. So for 30 minutes of sitting or one activity, you should do something the opposite for like at least 30 seconds to kind of reset some of the tissues that have been stretched for that long.
The 30-30 rule.
Yep.
How
And so,
interesting.
yeah.
I haven't heard
you
that.
ever heard that?
Before.
No? So that
No.
way, and sometimes, especially for a lot of our, for people that work at, say, like a desk all day, you can get involved in a project, and then 30 minutes flies are like that. So I always like to have them, everybody's got a phone now, so set a timer to go off every 30 minutes and get up and go walk and go to the drinking fountain, get a drink, go to the bathroom, do whatever you need to do, but get out of that sitting position so that those muscles can kind of reset their clock, so to speak, and not get tight. Dr. Polucki, I think, is agreeing with me here.
yeah. So I tried that. I tried the whole alarm thing.
Yeah.
And if you're as obsessed as I am, I'm not saying anybody is, but you tend to start getting annoyed at the alarm. So I figured the workaround that you can't cheat. You can't cheat this system, and it's especially good for these summertime temperatures. Every time you go to the bathroom, number one, you drink a big glass of water.
Absolutely.
Immediately replenish the water that has flushed through your system.
Here.
So in about 30 minutes, you're going to have to go to the bathroom again. And if you keep that up during the daylight hours, and I highly recommend you stop doing it around dinner time, or you'll be making some trips in the middle of the night, which we know can lead to some problems.
Absolutely.
But certainly during the daylight hours, first thing in the morning and through all the way till dinner, every time you go to the bathroom, you drink another big glass of water, and that ensures that 30-minute limit that no timer will.
Yeah, right. True.
So yeah, I like it, and it takes care of two issues.
Yep.
Two issues simultaneously, and as far as the muscles that you're talking about, a little pinch. Now this is going to sound crazy, especially to seniors, but a pinch of salt, which everybody's told to stay away from, and a pinch of sugar, which everybody's told to stay away from, actually makes water wetter. It makes water work better in your body.
Really?
Yeah, think about this for a second. So those muscle cells, they have a certain concentration of salt and sugar in them.
Right.
When you start flushing water through your body, if the concentration of salt and sugar is less than the concentration of the salt and sugar in the cell, guess what happens? You pull that salt and sugar out of the cell, and the water in the cell has to follow it. So hydrating with just water, especially purified water, can actually be dehydrating.
So what I need to do then is add a pinch of salt.
Yep.
a pinch of
Something like
sugar.
that. Yeah, a pinch. Not so you can taste the sweet, not so you can taste the salt, but it will feel different in your mouth. If it feels different in your mouth, it feels different going through your whole body. And it actually pushes the water into the cell instead of pulling it out.
Yeah, and I like certain types of salt. Like, so I'm not a big fan of like your Morton salt because it has been processed, it's been bleached. And
Well, I have the kind that you twist and turn, and it
The Kona sea salt?
whatever. I don't know what the name of it is, but you
Yeah.
got to twist it to
yeah,
get
you
it out.
usually want to do like either a sea salt or a Celtic salt or a pink Himalayan sea salt because those have not been stripped of the other minerals that are responsible and helpful in absorbing that water. So
Yeah, that's
it's interesting. I'm curious about the sugar though. I've never
Yeah.
heard adding the sugar to it
Well,
because
it's the whole concept of Gatorade.
which Gatorade is probably one of the worst.
I
It
know,
started as a
now
good
it is.
one.
Now it
Yeah, it
is.
started as good, but it tasted so
when
horrible.
when
Yeah.
it started, it was basically just sugar, salt, and whatever, lemon lime,
Yeah.
right? Sugar, salt, lemon, lime, and it made a tremendous difference
Right.
in the football team down in Florida, right?
Mhm.
That's
Yep.
why it's called Gatorade.
Yep.
Such an incredible difference because in those temperatures, with that kind of gear on, with that kind of physical exertion, they were having people pass out
Right,
on the field.
absolutely, yeah.
So you put a little sugar, you put a little salt in the water instead of just water on the sidelines, which everybody knows is critically important in
Right.
that kind of heat. And all of a sudden, players can play the whole game at high level of exertion without having any of those problems.
Yeah.
So now, of course, like everything else, it's mostly chemicals and not really good for you. But the idea is, you can't argue with physiology.
Right.
You need it. So yeah, a little bit of salt and sugar. Okay, so when you get an IV in the hospital, right? They start an IV with
Saline drip.
ringer lactate.
Uh-huh.
It's not just salt and water, but there's some sugar in it, and
Mhm.
there's a reason the sugar's there. It's not because we want you to have sugar in your bloodstream. It's because it makes it easier to get stuff into cells instead of unintentionally pulling stuff out of cells.
It's interesting. I've never heard that,
Yeah,
concept
okay.
with the sugar.
There
with
you
the
go.
sugar.
Well, you
for
learn
sure.
something new every day,
There
don't
you
you?
go.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's
Yeah,
amazing.
especially with muscles. Any muscle work we do, we make sure that person is properly hydrated.
And it's so crucial for so many avenues. The hydration is just because our discs are water, and so if you're dehydrated, your discs are going to be less pliant. And that's a disc is part of your lower back. It's the little shock absorber between the bones in your spine. So hydration is really, really crucial for that. I actually had read in a study. I'm dating myself now, but probably 20 years ago that talked about that they thought 50% of low back pain was caused from dehydration because your discs are actually shorter when those discs are not hydrated. And so hydration
very
is super, super crucial. And it's just crucial for everything, for the exchange of all those minerals and, vitamins and stuff that are flowing through your system. And if you're dehydrated, you're not getting those, like you said, into the cell. So I'm really curious about the sugar, though. I never heard the sugar.
A pinch of sugar and a
Yeah.
pinch of salt.
So
Into here.
I'm oversimplifying stuff, but it's easy. It's easy. Just put a pinch of sugar, a pinch of salt, and stuff.
And then
It
just
works
shake it
out
up.
to a gram, which is a quarter of a teaspoon in essentially a gallon. A gram of sugar, a gram of salt in a gallon. But again,
This is not
that
a
just
gallon.
overcomplicated things way too much. So you put, anytime you have a big glass of water, just put a pinch of sugar, a pinch of salt. And I'm not one of those that says, oh, it has to be organic, cruelty free or whatever sugar. Table sugar is actually better for you than the sugar you get in fruit, because it's more like the sugar that your blood runs on, that every system in your body runs on. Fructose has to make a lot of work in the liver and the pancreas and all kinds of stuff. So I'm not saying fruit is bad. Fruit is really good, but you need to watch your fruit sugars. Sure, believe it or not, table sugar works better in your body. Crazy. I know that goes against everything everybody's told these days. Stay away from sugar. Sugar's the evil.
You
Take
need
all
to
these
talk to my son
artificial
about it.
Yeah,
Oh.
take all these artificial sugar substitutes instead, and every one of them puts a tremendous load on every system in your body, the liver, the kidneys, all of it. Whereas straight up table sugar, our body almost recognizes as bioidentical. It's as close to what your system runs on as we can get.
Table sugar.
Yeah, it's not as evil as people think.
How interesting.
Yeah. Crazy, huh? But sparingly. I'm not saying add a tablespoon of sugar to everything you eat.
Well,
that is
that would
not
be
what
too
I'm saying
much
here.
for
Yeah.
this.
Oh, yeah. No. No. A quarter of a teaspoon in a gallon. Quarter of a teaspoon. You can't taste it. You can't taste the sweet. You can't taste the salt. It just feels different.
One of the things that's interesting. So I use, because I exercise, do a lot of cardiovascular exercise, and so I use electrolyte drinks, but I try and do them without any sugar, which is kind of interesting. But it's interesting. I had listened to the CEO of this company that I use their product, and it's interesting. I had noticed this, but I'd never kind of put two and two together. I'll be interested to get your thought process on that. But mine doesn't have any sugar. It just has magnesium, calcium, and or potassium and sodium. But it's interesting, when I first mixed the drink, it tastes sweet to me. And I had noticed, and I usually put one packet into about 32 ounces of water, but I had noticed that when I would get down towards the end of the drink, it would start to taste very salty to me. And I never really put two and two together why, but it's actually your body. So when I listened to the CEO talk about it, he said, so when it turns to salty, it's because all of your needs that your body has have been met. And that's why all of a sudden the taste changes.
How
And
interesting.
yeah, so I thought it was really interesting. And so I noticed it, like, when I get down to the last probably 4 to 6 ounces, like, it tastes salty to me. So really, I've had what I need for those minerals.
You don't need to drink
and
anymore.
I don't need to finish it anymore. But it's really kind of,
And
I
the
thought that was
first
interesting.
part where it tastes sweet when there's no sugar in
Yeah.
it is because it's pulling sugar out of your cells.
Interesting.
Which is, when you're working
When-
out,
right,
not
yeah.
necessarily
Not so-
what you want to do.
Right, yeah, because you need that sugar getting into the cells to create
Yeah.
ATP and energy, and so you're
Yeah.
utilizing that energy. So that's interesting.
Yeah,
Huh.
yeah. So I mean, we can geek out about this, but that's not that interesting to the general
Right.
public.
I like that. We can geek out about this. What exactly does that mean?
We're
Well,
always
that
trying
means
to-
that we've been to school way
Yeah,
too long
right.
to have a normal conversation
Right.
anymore.
Well, and we're always trying to maximize the efficiency of our system. As we're getting older, we don't want to have those declines. And so those are the things that we're doing to try to, quote unquote, hack the system to make sure that our system is running on all cylinders and not having that decline. So that's why we're geeking out on this stuff, because
Geeking
we're
out.
thinking about, all these different things
Love
of
it.
how do we maximize our systems that we have so that they're running the most efficiently and allowing us to, in sports, perform the way we want, or just your daily stuff of performing the way you want. Think about how many times you get tired and you're like, oh, I need a nap. I need to sit down because I'm exhausted. Well, that means your systems aren't performing the way that they should be, because you should have readily energy ready to do what you want to do.
Yeah.
That's interesting, because I have a tendency when I start to do something is just flying around all over the place. And all of a sudden I'm thinking, oh, I got to go sit down. And because then my back will start hurting, my legs will start hurting, and I'm thinking, what are you doing, Barbara? Go sit down for a few minutes and everything will take care of itself. So that's what I have to do.
You gotta let those systems catch up and kind of re-energize the cells. And yep.
It's interesting because I've never been a slow person.
You like to go.
Although I've had to slow down recently, But that's,
You're not slow.
No,
You're getting slower.
I'm not slow. But if I'm not slow, how am I getting slower?
You always say you're not old, but you're getting
Older. Okay, I got you. I understand. Do we need to take a break yet?
Yeah, in a minute.
1 minute.
So, just closing up for regular, normal people. Hydration's critically important. The muscle
Absolutely.
work for the muscles to work normally, but it's not just your muscles. It's your brain. It's your heart. Your heart might be the most important muscle, and it's always working. It is working 24/7, whether you want it to or not. And I think most people want it to. So sugar and salt is what these things run on. It's not just about the hydration. It's about getting that balance in the cell, keeping that balance in the cell, and staying hydrated, especially in these. It looks like it's going to be a hot summer.
That's what we're headed to, I
And
think.
most
I
of
think
the,
so.
old standard ideas about, oh, well, be careful if your urine is, yellow or orange or brown, you need to hydrate. No, if you're hydrating properly, your urine doesn't have a color. And like I said, the trick to stay moving, every time you go, number one, you have another big glass of water with a pinch of sugar and salt in it. And with that, we're going to take a break.
Yes, I'm Barbara Cochran with my co-host, Dr. Thomas Polucki, on your hometown station, 98.1 FM, AM 1220 KHTS. Welcome back to the Senior Hour. I'm Barbara Cochran with my co-host, Dr. Thomas Polucki, on your hometown station, 98.1 FM, AM 1220 KHTS. And we're speaking with Adam Laraway from Focus Physical Therapy, which means a great deal to seniors, doesn't it?
Yeah, so I thought we'd talk a little bit more about low back pain, just because I know, a lot of seniors struggle with low back pain. And so, some of the things that we want to try and do is, obviously we were talking a little bit about, a couple muscles that were tight, and the hamstrings are an easy one to stretch. Just you can put your leg up on a table and lean forward. You want to really lean forward with your chest, but that's where, getting you into physical therapy and doing evaluation with the therapist is really important, because we can check all these tests and measures to figure out, is it the hamstrings that are tight? Is it the psoas, those hip flexors that are tight? And then give you exercises and actually do the exercises with you, so you are doing them correctly and you're educated, and you know that when you're doing your home exercises at home, that you're doing them correctly as well. And another big component we see is just core stability. Unfortunately, as we get older, or even when you're younger, if you're not working your core muscles and they start to get weak, those are the main stabilizers for your lower back. And so those, again, that's where getting in to see physical therapists such as myself and doing an evaluation to figure that out, teaching you exercises to work on those core muscles and get things, strong, and so that you're able to sit, in good form, good posture. You're able to lift a grocery bag, so you're not straining those muscles because they're not turning on at the right time. And that's where the fun part of physical therapy is, helping people figure out what those issues are that is causing the low back pain, and getting them back on the road to
That's-
recovery.
That's interesting because when the physical therapist comes to my house,
Yep.
I actually have to get up and hold on to the sink area
Mhm.
in the kitchen.
Yep.
And I mean, she has me doing all kinds of things. Squatting and
Yep.
sitting and
Yep.
legs out, back and sideways
Yep.
and this way and that way. And I'm thinking, oh,
Is she educating you on your core while you're doing all those? Does she tell you to pull your belly button in and
yes,
keep
yes.
those core
She says,
muscles
hold
tight?
that stomach in.
Yep.
Hold that stomach in.
Yep. And so it should become second nature because, you can cheat by doing what's called a Valsalva maneuver where you just bear down, but you can't walk around like that all day. And so you really have to distinguish. And that's where, the expertise of a physical therapist comes in, is that we can go through that with you so that oh yeah, okay, I'm kicking that muscle in, but you should be able to, carry on a conversation normally while you're doing your core exercises.
Oh, yes.
I'm contracting my core right now. You didn't even know it.
Well, the other therapist is the occupational therapist working waist up
Okay.
with the arms and the legs.
Uh-huh.
I mean, doing this and doing this with a rubber band.
Yep.
Oh, pull it this way,
Yep.
this way. And boy, that is a workout.
Absolutely. We
It
do a lot of that
really
in physical therapy
is.
as well. 'Cause
You have the rubber bands?
absolutely. Yep. Yep.
Aha.
We have free weights and then we have rubber bands, and we kind of give a prescription for which ones we think are going to be most beneficial.
Yeah,
So,
the
yeah.
2-pound weights.
Yep.
Those are heavy.
They can be for sure.
But getting back to the back.
Yes.
for
So,
seniors.
that's really, again, getting an evaluation with a trained physical therapist to determine what those deficits are, because they could be other things, but those are probably some of the most common, kind of culprits that we see, especially in our seniors, because what do? We sit a lot more than we normally should. And so those muscles
That's
get
very
tight,
true.
and then the core gets weak, and your glutes get weak. And so then we need to kind of work on stretching those things out and strengthening those muscles and making sure that everything's in balance so that you can go about your day and you don't have to think about your low back anymore.
Well, it's interesting too because I have to get up a couple of times in the middle of the night,
Mm-hmm.
but I make sure that I put my legs down.
Yep.
I hold onto this chest, and then I hold onto this,
Mm-hmm.
then I hold onto the wall,
Yep.
and then the sink, and then I'm okay.
Yep. We don't like that though. We want you to be able to get up, have your bearings, and be able to go, because that means
I
your
don't-
balance is still off a little
Yeah,
bit.
my balance is off. I
Yep.
know that's why I use this walker.
Exactly.
This is a lifesaver.
So, Adam, how do people get in touch with you?
So we're located off of Peachland Avenue, 25050 Peachland Avenue, Suite 205, right above Valencia Pharmacy, right above Dr. Thomas Polucki. And our phone number is 661-255-4205. And our website is www.focusphysicaltherapy.scv.com. And I think that's about it. Did I give it all?
Always-
Good. I
Always a
think
pleasure
you
to
did
have
it.
you here, Adam.
I think you did
You've
it.
been listening to the Senior Hour KHTS FM 98.1 AM 1220 hometownstation.com. We're sponsored by Comfort Keepers, Providence Holy Cross, and IMAC Head Spa. Med Spa. Now go out and enhance your quality of life.